Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. You've likely heard this before, but critical shortages in New Hampshire have been impacting businesses of all kinds, large and small. Workforce shortage, housing shortage, childcare shortage, which all are interrelated. And then there are the high energy costs. The obvious question is, what's being done to turn around these constraints on New Hampshire's economic health, especially in the current session of the New Hampshire legislature in Concord? Here's a sobering fact on workforce. New Hampshire's labor force remains thousands of workers below its pre-pandemic peak levels. Several key industries still have significantly fewer filled jobs. And then there's this promising headline from my guests. Business perspective for priority legislative efforts can help ease New Hampshire's workforce solutions. With me to tell us about what the legislature is doing to ease New Hampshire's workforce shortage is the president and CEO of the Business and Industry Association of New Hampshire, Michael Skelton. Welcome.
Thanks, Fred.
Nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
You say there are 4 priority efforts underway in the legislature that would ease the workforce shortage. What are they?
Well, as you mentioned, these are all interrelated issues. So we look at various pieces of legislation and what's happening with the state budget, proposals related to childcare, housing, workforce training through our college and university system, as well as the Medicaid reauthorization issue. We think are 4 issues that are pertinent right now. Action is being taken on them, and all of them can have an incremental positive effect on easing workforce shortages.
Let's go to housing. That seems to be the thing that unlocks the others. What about housing? What's being done in the legislature right now?
There are several promising bipartisan efforts underway, and I think ultimately there'll be something that is worked into the final state budget compromise. And they look at creating a housing champions program that will help local communities actively plan and take more control of developing different types of housing. There's more money for our affordable housing fund, which is an important set of resources for our state. There's more money being proposed for the governor's Invest New Hampshire program, which proved to be very successful over the past year. So as you can see, there's different approaches, and that's what we need with this housing issue, which is quite large and it's going to take many years for us to build our way out of, but we need an all-of-the-above approach to tackling this issue.
Right, and there's this child care bill, Senate Bill 237, which provides scholarships for both employees of the programs, of the child care programs, to go to college and come back and staff up these child care centers, and also for the parents, and changing the eligibility to make it more possible to go and have child care. That bill is in the state budget, and it looks like it's going to fly, does it?
I think so. I mean, there has been bipartisan support for several child care bills, including the one you just referenced. You know, our role as the business community has been to illustrate and talk to the legislature to help them connect the fact that childcare, affordability, and accessibility is a workforce issue. The only part of our workforce that has not reached labor participation rates pre-COVID to post-COVID is 25 to 35-year-old adults, and that's that moms and working parents age. So we know child care is an issue there that's holding folks from re-entering the workforce when they very well want to.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's turn the page to energy, which is another priority for the BIA. And here's some graphics. Let's go to them. The average New Hampshire residential electricity rate is 18.04 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 41% higher than the national average. Now, here is the same for the commercial electricity rate, 23.57 cents per kilowatt hour. That's 52% higher than the national average. Is there any legislation at the State House to deal with any of that?
There is, and we should start by saying that energy is a very difficult issue to tackle because New Hampshire is part of a regional energy market. So we have limited tools that we can use in state to influence the overall rates that we're dealing with across the entire region. But there is a bill being worked on, the BIA is supporting, along with several other important stakeholders, including the State Department of Energy and Clean Energy New Hampshire, called Senate Bill 54, which seeks to allow the state to build new sources sources of native New Hampshire generation that's going to increase supply. So much like housing, energy is a supply-demand issue. We need more supply to bring down costs for everybody.
Michael Skelton, President and CEO of the Business and Industry Association of New Hampshire. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you missed part of this briefing on workforce and energy, you can go to WMUR.com where it will be posted all this week.